So Admiral James Stockdale, he was a prisoner of war in Vietnam for 7 years. And he was the highest ranking prisoner of war that made it out the other side of being a prisoner of war alive. And something that, he kind of brought out of that situation, I mean, thinking about being a prisoner of war for 7 years is wild, but something that he brought out was the people that were just pure pessimists, like, man, we're never going to get out of here. This is never going to get any better. Like, man, they're not going to make it as a prisoner of war. Yeah. But the thing that I think is surprising is he said, man, the people that were optimists also didn't make it out. Because here's what would happen with the optimists. They would always be like, man, we're going to be out by Thanksgiving. We're going to be out by Christmas. And what Stockdale said is that, man, many of them like died from a broken heart, because the next day was always going to be like, man, when things were going to get better. And so the principle that he kind of brought out of that is like, and you have to be able to balance having this unwavering faith for the future with the realism of like the current reality. And so to quote him, he says, "You must maintain unwavering faith that you will prevail in the end, regardless of the difficulties, and at the same time, confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be." And Jim Collins uses Stockdale's example, and then he uses this, and he calls it the Stockdale paradox. He uses this to say, man, really great organizations are able to do the same thing. They're able to constantly balance having a ton of hope around the future, but not denying what's happening like in our current reality. And I think there's a great application to church leadership in this, because in church leadership, I think we see this a lot. We know that we're supposed to have faith in what God's doing and faith in his mission. And it could be hard sometimes to maybe say what it is that's actually going on, because we want to say, man, God's on his throne. God is great. He's awesome. Yeah. Everything's going great. But sometimes things aren't going great. And we need to be able to say, man, things are not going great right now. Yeah. No, we have some real issues that we need to address.